Hello and welcome to the review for Choss. So right off the bat, I should explain a little bit of the origins of this MOC. This is yet another MOC of mine that is a sort of reinterpretation of a super old character of mine. So I'll put some pictures up on the screen now of older versions of this guy. This is definitely an improvement on the past versions of the MOC. This is one kind of similar to my MOC Incendia, where the old versions are very different, and the decision to make this a new version of Choss wasn't really something I knew I was going to do from the beginning. In fact, when I started building this torso and these legs, they were actually going to be for a wyvern body style dragon. And then at some point it turned into a humanoid character, and at some point I was like, I was using that head that I'd used before for an older version of the MOC, and I was like, what if this was a new version of Choss? So as far as what the character is, it's a chaos demon. Could you tell the name is only 2 letters off of the word chaos? I was very uncreative as a child, but I like the way the name sounds phonetically, so I'm just sticking with it. And yeah, anyhow, he's a chaos demon, a bit of a sort of trickster type character. Probably takes a lot of joy in just fooling people and using illusions to sort of trip up his enemies and stuff. Hence, something we'll get to with the staff later on. But anyhow, getting into the actual build, let's start with the lower part of the MOC. The legs are just plain old CCBS. The feet are custom, though. You can see we've got a little, if I can get this CCBS armor off, there we go, little hand connector with one of these little Technic pieces, and then this very useful little system piece with the 3 bars on it. It's basically just 3 little bars out here attached to just a 2x1 plate. Very nice little piece. And then we have a little T-piece and some extra force arms on the back just for a little heal bit. And then this just has a little cut lightsaber rod in it that's like about two pin lengths long or so. And that goes on like so. There we go. I did it successfully with one hand. I am a genius. Kind of push that bar in a bit. There we have it. Very nice looking feet. I like them because you get the 3 claws, but it's a lot smaller than, say, the big beast feet like what came with Onua 2015, for instance. I know that protector feet do also... Wait, do protector feet have 3 connection? No, they only have room for 2 toes, don't they? Yeah, so I was right. So yeah, so this is like the best way of getting the 3 toes in a more compact size of foot, which I think is pretty nice, and I think they work well. The rest of the legs, like I said, all CCBS. What is a little more interesting about the lower half of the body, though, is the tail. The tail itself is very simple. It's just repeating 4 long black shells with the little spike, and then he has a little, like, hand piece at the end with some little bits to it. It's not very poseable because it's like 3 different claws all attached to one little black T-piece. This one can move, but these 2 are kind of locked in place. Well, I guess this one can move down like that. Then another little one attached with a little Exoforce hand, little, what is this? A Borak eye. I wanted to call it a Baraki eye, but I knew that wasn't right. And anyhow, that's pretty much it for the tail. I think it looks nice. It's just a simple, posable thing that's good for, like, expressive poses and kind of adding a little character to the way he looks on the shelf. Again, super, super simple, but a good example of how nice just repeating designs and repeating parts is, because just having the same repeating tail segment really makes it look a lot nicer than if it was like just a bunch of different shells and different spikes and stuff, which is probably something I would have done when I was a newer Mockist. So this is an obvious tip. A lot of really skilled Mockists heavily utilize the whole repeating parts, repeating patterns thing, and I did it on a very simple basic level on this MOC, but it works great. So anyhow, to try and reveal a bit of what's going on with the base of the tail, I'm gonna pop off this whole assembly, which, yep, this little bit's gonna fall out because that's just sort of frictioned in up top. I'm gonna pop off his head so his chin doesn't get in the way. His chin is a very low chin, okay? You know, he has a condition. No, anyhow, if I can get this lit properly, there we go. You can kind of see that. Anyway, not too much going on down in here. We've got a little, like just a Nika armor kind of thrown on there. If I take that off, you can see kind of how this is connected. 2 hand connectors, Glatorian neck, and then this is one of those tiny little CCBS bodies And that's sort of the main base for a lot of the skirt and the tail coming off of the back end of the MOC. And then attached with a simple hand connector going up to a little pair of I guess just a single piece of Metro hips. I kept wanting to call them Hordika hips for some reason. What is wrong with my brain today? This little area in here doesn't look too great. This kind of inner front part of the tail base and stuff. But I think it works fine because it's very in the shadows and mostly covered up by this. Oh, and then this little assembly is just Glatorian neck with a bar attaching it and some Exoforce arms to fill in gaps and a ball joint, and then it just goes on right there. And then the little bit that fell off, I'll show you real briefly, is just a tiny chain piece with a couple spikes, and the spikes aren't even really that visible. You just kind of, let me see if I can remember how to put it back on. If I recall, you pretty much just slip these little spikes down in here, and then he just has a very slight little like chain belt piece kind of in there, which I think looks nice. He's got a lot of nice little greebly bits built into the torso, but we'll get to that in a bit. I want to cover the skirt first. The skirt is one-upping Devok as far as the sheer amount of Bittle shields you can work into one skirt design. He's got 4, and it's a lot. I'm not a huge fan of these spikes just sticking out like that. Not really my favorite detail. Just kind of a way to try and cover up those bits of the hand connectors sticking out. I don't love it, but I guess it works. And overall, yeah, I think the skirt looks really nice. I think having a big skirt is a great way to disguise sort of the awkward area of the MOC where the base of the tail connects to the torso. And the way the Bittle shields work with the silver Onua claw hammer piece things and just this silver CCBS shell, it looks really nice and has some nice sort of color layering to it with the skirt being silver and all that. And that actually works into some of the stuff on the upper part of the torso because there's also some pretty decent color layering up here, I would say. I'm actually really happy with a lot of this. You can see he has more silver in the form of these really big shoulder pads, and then underneath the shoulder pads, kind of layered beneath them, both texturally and in terms of color, are a lot more kind of small little black and trans reddish orange, whatever that color is, type pieces. And it creates a cool look of like that being more of his skin texture and then the silver being more distinctly armor or garments of some type, and I really like that type of thing. Taking a closer look at some of the little greebly bits in the torso, if I can bring him a little closer, there we go. You can see there's just some nice stuff going on with little Exoforce arms and spike pieces, just kind of creating some interesting shaping. We've got a couple pairs of Borak eyes, and if I kind of move this bit up and remove this big Hero Factory spike thingy-majig carefully, you can see the shoulder is built up through quite a lot of like hand connectors and stuff, and there's actually a ball joint in there, so the shoulder can kind of wiggle from inside the torso a bit. I try not to do it too much because some of the little greeblies will fall out if I move them too much. Like these little flame pieces that kind of make this cool little collar for him are just held in on literally these spike things, but just like frictioned in there, and then kind of held in place a bit more securely with these little minifigure megaphone bits in here in red. And so I have to not mess with the shoulders too much, but it's cool that there's a little bit of extra articulation in there. And then as well, the shaping around the shoulders I'm really happy with, because you have this little barb kind of going out to this bigger spike piece with some consistent curvature, and then that looks really nice underneath this bigger silver shell piece, and then these little spike bits coming up off the shoulder. He has some really nice shaping going on with that area around his shoulders and his kind of collarbones and stuff, and I like how that looks. The back of the torso is one of the weaker areas of the MOC, I would say. There's not really much to it. You can see everything I used to build it up. It's just kind of some shells and some spiky things. It's fine, I guess. It serves its purpose. The arms are super simple, obviously, but I am pretty happy that I was able to finally utilize these. I know they're actually Ben 10 pieces, but I'm pretty sure I would have gotten mine, because I never bought any Ben 10, so I'm pretty sure mine came from the super old Hero Factory sets from like the first wave of Hero Factory back in 2010, which was almost 11 years ago. Oh my god. Anyhow, yeah, there you have it. So that's pretty much it for the MOC. Here we have the head. The head is not my favorite thing. I mean, the face looks pretty cool and kind of creepy, but just having this big, what is this? This invasion from below, like beast jaw piece thing, it's kind of gappy in the jaw, and I don't know. It looks okay. It's one of those situations where I'm kind of happy with having two pieces that weren't meant to go together, fitting together with fairly nice shaping and stuff, and looking pretty, just kind of satisfyingly connected, I guess. But, there's a lot more I could do with this head. I love the idea of having like a Plague Doctor mask type thing going on for the head of this MOC, but I think there are definitely better ways to execute that. The way I did it here was not the best. In fact, I almost think that just the Skrull head on its own might be better than with the big jaw piece, but I don't know. I'll keep trying things, I'll keep figuring things out, but that's definitely one thing I might try to improve on this guy in the future. Anyhow, finally, I will bring in the, I was gonna say the weapon. I guess it might be a weapon because he can maybe kind of do magic with it and stuff, but not really something you would actually hit people with, unless you want to, I guess. Anyhow, it looks like a jester hat. That's kind of the main cool thing about it. It has like a jester's hat kind of shape. And the reason I love that is because, again, he's a chaos demon. He's supposed to be kind of a trickster and a demon of like illusions and fooling his opponents. So the idea that he literally has a jester's hat on his staff, I really like that. That's a lot more symbolism than I ordinarily put into any of my creations. And I just think it's a fun little detail to add to this character. So anyhow, that's pretty much it. My final thoughts on this guy are just that I'm really pleased with him. Like I said, it was an interesting process building him because he started as a dragon and then turned into something completely different. But I'm happy with him. I'm happy with the simple but nice looking design for the tail. I'm satisfied with the color layering and just the colors in general. Of course, they're mostly classic, black fantasy colors, but with little bits of bright red, silver, and even brown worked in for some very tertiary accent colors. I think it all looks really nice in the end. And the overall design for the character is just, I think, one of my more memorable and distinct designs that I've come up with, so I'm happy with it. For size comparisons, I apologize, the size comparisons have been kind of lackluster lately on this channel, but I've totally gone the opposite for this video. I've completely over-prepared, so there's no way you're ready for this. We've got, okay, first of all, we've got the minifigures. Cool. They're back. We've got Ranu. We've got Tarduk. We've got Radiac. We've got, I'm gonna put him over here, Atticus. We've got Strack with some incorrect pieces. We've got Malum with some missing pieces. And we've got Vorox with all of his pieces perfectly. I went on a bit of a set building bender recently. So, there you have it. And there's the pencil sharpener and everything. There's some of the building area. Ooh. Behind the scenes, whatever. Anyhow, that's it. That's Choss. My name is The Watching Relic, and I will see you all next time. I have no idea what the hell we are looking at next.